good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Udinese 1, Roma 2. The curse has officially ended. The curse has officially been broken by two penalties which have granted us the win today. From Udine to Udine, it's as simple as that. Life is a cycle. The last away game that we won was the 25th of April with De Rossi on our bench, with Cristante headbutting it in the last second of the game in that very weird game which got split into because of Ndika's problem. And if you know, you know. If God exists, this is a goal. From that to this, we're back winning away from home. We're back, getting 3 points away from home, which I think is massive. Psychologically, it's massive. And it's probably the most important thing which I get from this game today. It's the effect that after so much time of drawing or losing away from home, all of a sudden you fought a hard fight and you got home 3 points. And I think the effect that it's going to have mentally can be a positive one. Again, I am never going to say this season, you will never hear me, from September until May, you will never hear in any of my match reactions me saying that Roma is officially back. You will never hear me say it this season. Because the truth is that we're not officially back. The truth is that we never really started this season, and therefore we're never going to be officially back. This season is this. We need to accept who we are. We need to accept that we're not good enough this season to dominate teams. We need to accept that every single game, whether home or away, will be a direct fight. Every single duel in the game, every single mistake, every single moment can give you the 3 points or can give your opponents the 3 points. This is who we are. Because look, we got the 3 points today and I'm the happiest man on earth. I would have signed on anything today to get 3 points and to get 3 points back in our bucket and bringing it back home. But today's performance was not a perfect performance. Today's performance was not a performance where confidence peaked. At the end of the day, we did win, but we also did win, and we need to acknowledge that we won because of 2 penalties. Clear penalties. I'm not saying that there weren't penalties. Clear penalties, but what would have happened if the 2 penalties were not given? What would have happened today if the referee had made a mistake, which happens very, very, very oftenly with us, and didn't give us one of the 2 penalties? You see, would we have won today's game? I'm not sure we would have. So this is who we are. Every single game has its own fairy tale to it. Every single game has its own narration to it. And I'm very happy that we got 3 points. But again, this performance away from home is not a perfect performance away from home. And, I'm saying this because I don't want anyone here, now that we won after 270 days away from home, going, we're officially back. I don't want anyone here to do it because I care about your mental health and we're not officially back. This team, we know this team. We know this team too well. They can't win 3 consecutive games, not even if you increase their wages by 10 times. This team struggles. And we struggled today, but we got the 3 points. And I am very happy that we did because it's going to help a lot. And it's ultimately going to add to the momentum. A momentum which in the league is building. A momentum which in the year and in the league, is improving. It's not a solid momentum. It's not a confident momentum. It's a momentum which is growing. It's a momentum which we're definitely seeing improvements in performances and also improvements in results if you compare them to 2-3 months ago. But I do still get the impression that you win a game, you win 2 games, you lose the 3rd game. And that can't happen if you want to climb positions. That cannot happen if you actually want to give something that you've lacked in this first half of the season in the league. So I'm very happy, but it wasn't the perfect of performances, and I will admit this. But I don't care. I said this in the match preview yesterday. Udinese away is always a pain in the ass. Udinese away is always a game that you need to deal with very carefully, because it's a game that we've got terrible nightmares in. Do you remember 2 years ago we lost 4-0 in that ground? Last season we had the Indica nightmare, which of course then turned into a dream with the Cristante last minute. But, we had difficulties last season as well. So it's always a tough trip to Udine, always a tough stadium to play in. But we fought it, and at the end of the day, we also deserved it, because yes, it's 2 penalties which gave us the win, but I do feel like we had the more threatening attacks if you compare them to Udinese. Right, we've got a few things to say. I did call it in the match preview. I mean, look, if anyone is, I said this yesterday, if anyone likes betting here, call me. Give me a ring, because I'm very good with my predictions, and I'm not bragging here, but it's something that I keep in me very, proudly. I'm very good with predictions. I'm very good with predictions, and I'm very proud to say this. I knew that we were going to win. I knew that we were going to win because everything comes to an end in the same position as it starts. And I'm not trying to get too philosophical here, but it's just the way life is. Last away game, win in Udine. 9 months have gone by, bring it back in Udine again. I knew that we were going to win. I knew that we were going to struggle. And I knew that it was going to be a tough game, but I'm very happy that we got the 3 points. Let's get into this match reaction. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. Everybody in the stream, take 2 seconds. I called the prediction. Roma won away from home. There is no reason for you not to hit the like button. Please do it. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're getting closer to 15k, so get your friends, get yourself, get your family subscribed, and hit the like button, as I just said. Penalty FC, ole ole. Penalty FC, ole ole. Penalty FC. No, only joking. Right. The first thing that we need to look at is the lineup, because I think what makes today's win even extra special is the fact that we won today's game without our best lineup, that we won today's game without our best players. In fact, all of our best players were sat on the bench, and 3 of them stayed on the bench. Dybala got subbed in when we were winning 2-1. Dybala, Hummels, Paredes and Salamakers all on the bench today. I looked at that lineup this afternoon and I was like, there ain't no way we're going to win this game with this lineup. There is simply no way we're going to win this game. I think it was a risky move. And now that the game has ended, with the power of hindsight, it was a good risk to take. Because now we won away from home, we won a tough game, we got 3 points, all of this without using our best players, who can be fresh and used for a very important game on Thursday, which will mark our all in or all out in the Europa League against Eintracht Frankfurt. So a move which was risky, which turned out to be a good move and a proud move. And I'm sure that Ranieri is proud to have made this decision and got 3 points with it. There are players in the starting 11 today that, my opinion just does not change. It just doesn't. Because there are players in this team which I struggle to believe that they've actually made it to professional football. And again, I really don't want to ruin the party, because it should be a party. Let's not overhype ourselves, I agree, but it should be a party. We've won away from home after 2 months. Not 2 months, we wish. 9 months. And I'm not trying to ruin the party here, but there are players in this team that I always say this. If you're a kid who plays football, dream big. If Cilic has made it on a professional football pitch, there is no reason as to why you can't make it. There is no, and again, I like the way Shomurodov approached today's game. He was key in that second penalty with that Trivela shot to El Shaarawy. Goalkeeper there made a very big mistake. Let's not forget about that. I am not going to hide that Shomurodov impacted and assisted Dovbyk more because, and I'll get to that point in a second, but, that does not change my opinion. We had about 3 counterattacks with Shomurodov. I am not joking. He fumbled all 3 of them. One counterattack, he stole the ball from Kone. Another counterattack, he passed the ball instead of shooting. Like, these are players that if you want to admire for a bigger level, you can't have in your team. You cannot have in your team. The guy fucked up 3 counterattacks in the space of 10 minutes today. Like, if we hadn't won today's game, we would have eaten Shomurodov alive. Do you see what I mean? So, again, there are players in this team which need to go. They need to get teleported away from this football club because they are only damaging. They are only damaging. They are only damaging in this football club and in this football team. But look, going back to the starting 11, Wrench had a good game, had a good debut. Again, it's very early to build a judgment on him, and I'm not going to build any judgment on him because it's way too early. But he had a good debut. He can cross the ball. He's fast. All characteristics that we need in our right back. The one player which I was disappointed in today, disappointed in the sense that I like him, and I can't be disappointed in him because he barely ever gets any game time and any chances. But I always feel like, and he got subbed in games this season where he was great. I'm focusing on today's game. Maybe I expected a bit more. Again, I'm not hating on him. I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm just saying I expected more from him. I'd say Baldanzi. Because, and look, I think Baldanzi, Dovbyk, does not work together. Baldanzi and Dovbyk does not work together. Baldanzi, Pellegrini and Dovbyk with Pellegrini who tracks back and leaves Dovbyk and Baldanzi up front does not work. Because Baldanzi cannot give the physical attribution and the physical to support to Dovbyk. Because he's too small. So if you play Dovbyk and Baldanzi together, it isolates Dovbyk even more. Because Baldanzi can't support Dovbyk physically. Because he's half his height. And you'll say, well, Dybala's half Dovbyk height as well. Yeah, but don't compare Dybala and Baldanzi. So, which is why I had put Soulé in my match preview yesterday. And I'm also asking myself why Soulé got 0 minutes. Why the hell did Soulé get 0 minutes today? I don't understand. And it's a mystery. To me, it's a mystery that he gets 0 minutes, even in games where there was a slight idea of starting with the second lines. I'm not gonna say it worries me, but it worries me on his point of view. It's not good for him. It's not good for him. And I truly believe, I will say it again, that if this is what we think of him, he needs to be loaned out. Because I find it crazy that even in a game where the idea was to preserve the best players on Thursday, for Thursday's game, and start with your second lines, he didn't even get subbed in. Like, it does worry me a bit. It does worry me a bit. And I liked Soulé on Thursday. Thursday's game was absolutely terrible, a terrible game. One of the positives of Thursday's game was probably him. The energy he got subbed in with. So I was surprised that Soulé got 0 minutes today. But look, the reason I like this win is because Udinese are not an easy team to face. Udinese, the characteristic which strikes me the most about Udinese is how physical they are. Udinese are a very physical team. And we managed to beat them today with our second lines. And I think of our second lines. Our second lines, not all, but the majority of our second lines are not good enough. So the fact that we won in a tough stadium against a very physical side who had a good season and stopped many good clubs in their home ground, in my opinion, makes it even more special. Ranieri spoke about Luca post-match. Ranieri basically confirmed in the post-match interview, that Roma are looking into Luca. And that Luca is a player that Roma are following, more likely for the summer transfer window than this transfer window. I don't mind Luca as a second striker. My only doubt, and I don't know why I'm speaking about this right now, this live stream shouldn't be focused on transfer session, but we're speaking about Udinese, and we might as well put this in. My only question is, I feel like Dovbik's replacement, or Dovbik's second, or Dovbik's vice, whatever you want to call it, needs to be someone with different characteristics from Dovbik. And I'll explain this in a very easy way. If this team struggles finding and supporting Dovbik, it might be an individual problem. It might be that Dovbik doesn't understand the players. He scored today. He's scoring goals, but he can be better. If this team struggles with Dovbik, then why do we need to buy another striker with the same characteristics as him? It doesn't make sense. You know, it's like you don't like jam. You don't like jam, right? And you and your mom go out to have breakfast, and your mom orders a bagel with strawberry jam in it. And he gives it to you, she gives it to you, and you go, I don't like it. So your mom gets you another sandwich, and she gets a baguette with strawberry jam. The problem isn't solved. You've given me two identical things. If I don't like strawberry jam, you can't just change the bread and hope that I like it. You need to change the jam. I've got no problem with the bread, but you have to change the jam. And if you don't understand this, you're just wasting money. And it's a very similar analogy. Maybe it's a pushed analogy here, but it's the same. If this team struggles with someone up front with Dovbik's characteristics, they struggle to support him, they struggle to understand him, they struggle to play with him because the only thing they do is long balls on him, then why do you need a second striker who is literally Dovbik 2.0? Because Luka is Dovbik 2.0. He's a physical merchant, he's a power shot merchant, and he's a tall header merchant. Okay, so I think Dovbik's replacement needs to be someone who offers different things, who offers different contributions to Dovbik. Otherwise, there's no need in buying another striker if you're just going to copy and paste Dovbik. That's the way I see it. You might disagree. But he's not a bad player. He's definitely better than Shomurodov. I can tell you that for free. Right. Yeah. I've said what I had to say. I'm going to read a few comments and then I want to just speak about league table. Because I know that a lot of people are probably asking, can this win change a few things in the league and all of it? We'll look at the league table. I haven't looked at the league table after the game, so we're going to do it together. How ironic is it that their first win of the season was the last way when we won? Yeah, what did I say? It happens. Please all admit the fact that Shomurodov started from the second half and changed the game. Look, I'll be honest with you. Shomurodov did not get subbed in badly. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I am saying. He had a great pass to El Shaarawy's penalty. But you cannot have somebody in your team as a second striker. Second striker is a very important position. Let's say Dovbik gets injured. We need to start with Shomurodov, who fumbles up. He's technically about as weak as a T-Rex. He's not good enough. Now, whether you love Shomurodov, you're Shomurodov's biggest fan, or you're Shomurodov's brother, I don't give a shit. I don't like him. And as much as he changes the game today, you can agree that he changed the game to some extent, he's simply not good enough. And it's the truth. It's not being cruel. It's simply the truth. He is not good enough. Hello Simo, the Lunar New Year will be in 2 days. This is one of the best things to me in this end of the Lunar Year holiday. I hope Roma will claim Coppa Italia or Europa in this year, the year of the snake. Happy new lunar year to you, I guess. We played like 23 different formations in the second half. What are your thoughts on Rensch's debut? I say he played better than Cilic this season. Yeah, he wasn't bad. He gave what he needs to give. Again, it's too early to judge him. It's too early to say he's 100% better than Cilic. Excuse me, or 100% worse than Cilic. You can't base your opinion on him after seeing him for 70 minutes. He played good, also had a shot, could have scored in the first half. But yeah, hopefully he continues like this. Pellegrini is getting better when he does not play every game. Good to know. Yeah, Pellegrini had a good second half. First half was a bit shaky, but I don't want to get into the Pellegrini argument. You know me too well. He brought the energy, but he secured the attacks. Why did we let Esmoon go? What do we think of Frankfurt? We'll speak about Frankfurt this week. Don't worry. Let's focus on this today. 7 points off UCL. I would dream about Ancelotti being Roma manager, but this club is a lack of vision and ambition. I love Roma, but I have to be honest, the Fredkins ruined Roma. We should try get Castro. Yeah, Castro's not bad. Yeah, but that's a good example. That's a perfect example, mate. A player like Castro as a second striker, which won't happen because Castro won't come to Rome to be a second striker. And I wish for him, I wish that he doesn't come to Rome because he's the classic player that will get burnt in Rome. But to give you a perfect example, ideally as a second striker, you need somebody like Castro. Somebody who throws himself on every single ball, shorter than Dovbyk, sweats, fights, wins fouls. But that's a good example. Someone like Castro would not be bad as a second striker because he's different. Speaking about the two penalties real quick, first penalty was clear, second penalty was clear. They're nothing much. The goal that we conceded is another stupid goal. When are we going to stop conceding these stupid goals? When we will stop conceding these stupid goals is probably the day that we will actually start grinding consistency. You know, it's the goals that the stupidity of goals that we're conceding is hilarious. The 3 goals that we conceded in our 3 last games are goals that children concede in friendly games between them. In Sunday League pub football. It's embarrassing. Our defense this season is actually embarrassing. Hadn't they had that goal, we wouldn't have risked anything today. But a stupid goal today made us suffer for 90 minutes. But yeah. Right. Looking at the league table, and then I'll end it. Looking at the league table, also remember, always consider that we've got 2 games less than Fiorentina, who are playing tonight, and 1 game less than Milan and Bologna. But the good thing is that Milan and Bologna are playing each other. So either one of them or both of them will lose points. The league table says we're 9th with 30 points. Fiorentina's 8th with 33 points with 2 games in hand. But of course the 2 games are Lazio and Inter. Oh, I hope they beat Lazio. I will never cheer for Lazio. I will never support Lazio. Never I will turn on the television and support that football club. I hope that Fiorentina scores 3 past Lazio tonight. I'm being very clear on that. But Fiorentina 33 points, Bologna 34 points, 1 game less. Same as Milan, 1 game less. They're playing each other. And then 5th is Juventus, who's got 37 points, 7 points behind them, and 9 points behind Lazio, who've got a game in hand. Realistically speaking, if I'm being very honest with you, we've climbed positions. We are climbing positions. And we might nick it in Europe. We might nick it in Europe, especially because I think Fiorentina will collapse. They've already collapsed. They've won 0 in the last 5. But I think Fiorentina will collapse. And, you know, they've got the Conference League. They can go quite far in it. Fiorentina, in my opinion, we will surpass, despite the fact that they've got two games less than us. I think the day will come that we go ahead of Fiorentina. Look, I don't like Milan at all. I think Milan are very lucky and they're not good this season at all. But I'm not gonna push myself to say that we're gonna get past Milan as well. I mean, if you get past Fiorentina and Milan, you'd be in the Europa League. If you get past Fiorentina, you'd probably be in the Conference League because we would bring 5 teams in Europe next season. We've improved. But to climb more positions, you need to win games away from home. If you start winning games away from home, if you start winning the majority of your games and keep your home record, then maybe we might consolidate a good Europa League spot. Because you could climb Fiorentina and maybe even Milan. Bologna, I don't know. Bologna are having a good season. They're out of the Champions League, so they're back with 1 game each week. Bologna are a tough team to analyse this season. I still think it's very hard. But we've surely improved. We've surely built a solid, let's call it, gap between Udinese and Torino and the relegation talks that we were speaking about a few weeks ago. We need to continue focusing on ourselves. We need to continue focusing game per game on ourselves. But one thing that I would say is now that we have climbed positions and now that that the Fiorentinas, the Bologna and the Milans, you're looking at them closer. You can actually sense that you could get to them. I still think it's a mistake that we would make. My priority is still the Europa League, which is why I am so ready for Thursday's game, because for me, the Europa League means revenge. For all of you, it means revenge. I truly believe that if we had a good season from the start, we would be the clear favourites of the Europa League. I still feel like we have a chance. I really, I'm being dead ass. I want us to take the chance. Because I truly believe, I say when things are good and say when things are bad. I tend to be honest. I'm being very honest with you. I don't see many teams better than us in the Europa League. Based on form, everyone is better than us. But on paper football is different. But on paper, I really feel like we can say something in that Europa League. But we've had such a bad Europa League group stage that we've complicated ourselves. We've complicated our life ourselves. Nobody did anything. We played against former clubs everywhere we went, basically. And these former clubs basically always beat us and defeated us. The amount of points that we've lost in the Europa League this season is indescribable. Union Saint-Gilloise, Elfsborg away, AZ Alkmaar. These 3 teams together, I don't think if you combine the net worth and the value of the players in these 3 teams together, I don't think it reaches our value. Dynamo Kiev beating 1-0 with a penalty against Dynamo Kiev. We've been so bad that I can't be positive in this Europa League. But I truly believe that if this team all of a sudden clicks mentally and realizes that they've been dominating Europe better than anyone else in that Europa League, and if they start understanding that the chance is a good chance, despite how much you fucked it up, call me crazy, but I still fancy our chances to Bilbao. I really do. I care about the Europa League so much. This week is a very delicate week. I cannot wait for Thursday's game because I would be so disappointed if we were to be eliminated by the Europa League. You have no idea. If we get thrown out of Europe on Thursday, I would have to take a 3-day break. I would be so disappointed that my season would not have a sense anymore. It wouldn't have any sense anymore. European tournaments are the best. Traveling around Europe to watch your football club is the best thing to do in life. To see Roma get crashed out of the Europa League on Thursday would be a nightmare. Which is why we need to win. and don't depend on anyone else. Secure the playoffs, even though we could have easily gotten in that top 8. Secure the playoffs. I don't care. Just be in those playoffs. Just be in the playoffs, because I want to go forward in Europe and I want to take my chances for Bilbao because I care about that trophy more than anything else. Right. Better to get out of Europe and make sure we can perform better in the league. I disagree. I will never agree on this. You're not the first person who says this, but I will never agree on it. You will never hear me say snub Europe. After the 31st of May in 2023 at the Puskas Arena, until I'm on Earth, you will never hear me say, in a season where we qualify for Europe, snub Europe, focus on the league. Never will you hear me say that. Europe for me is always more important than the league, because Europe is a sense of pride. Traveling Europe, showing your colours, your passion, dominating the world, dominating your power is a sense of pride. So I will never agree to the statement. I got a lot of friends who say it, especially had said it at the start of the season. I will never agree with people who say it, but that's just my opinion. Anyone can think whatever they want. We're a different team in the knockouts though. Even though we were better, we always finished second in the group stages. Playing in Europe is crucial for finances too, yes. Frankfurt, then Napoli, then Milan, the Coppa Italia. 3 very big games. We will never win the second one though. We will never win the Napoli game. What did I say in April? Or May, when was it? Napoli with Conte are gonna cook, because Conte knows this league more than anything else. Conte knows this league like no manager does. My dream manager this summer is Antonio Conte. And you're probably asking, that will never happen because Conte will win the league with Napoli. If Conte wins the league with Napoli, I would not be that convinced that he's going to continue with them. There you go. I'm going to throw that statement to you. Antonio Conte will bring any Italian club at least minimal in the top 4. And for him, only basing yourself on top 4 is a defeat, because he's a winner. You might like him, you might not. He's a dick of a person. I can't stand him as a guy. He always complains. He always cries in front of the television. But that man, the way that man cooks in the Italian league, no one else. We had the chance to get him this summer, and we decided to give De Rossi the contract extension and then sack him after 4 games. He has said it himself that one day he wants to manage Roma and Napoli. Antonio Conte for me is... I don't like the way he plays, but he wins, and that's what counts. Right, I'm going to catch you tomorrow. What a Sunday. Yannick Sinner, champion of the Australian Open, and Roma back winning away from home. I'll catch you tomorrow. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If we had a chance at top 4, I'd prioritize the league. But at this moment, we need to be playing more games to develop our bench and chemistry. And there's just something about European games, which no other tournament does. I'm a fanatic of European games. I really am. The European games taste of something else. So on Thursday, we need to win. Because let's be in the playoffs. I will speak about that game this week. And we'll also speak about playoff draws and all of it. Because a lot of people haven't understood what happens if we go to the playoffs. Like, who do we face? I have understood it. It took me some time, but I've understood it. So I'll explain it in the match preview. Right, love you all. Hit the like, subscribe, 100 likes, and we win on Thursday as well. If you liked my prediction, and if you are happy we got back winning away from home, hit the like, subscribe, and bye-bye. Love you. Simo out.